Teaching by example. What you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust it to trusted people, who are also skilled at teaching others. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 2. There is a saying, one example is worth more than 1,000 pieces of advice. The example of a person, in my opinion, is that when someone is sick or dies, many people sympathize or empathize. Early this morning I read an article about funeral services for Leroy Imes from Virginia, USA. Leroy was a faithful preacher of the good news, the gospel of Christ, of the Navigator community. There were hundreds of friends and colleagues from far away who came to pay their last respects to Leroy. Why do many people love Leroy? Because in his life, Leroy was brave enough to pay the price to disciple one person after another, becoming a militant follower of Christ. He took today's reading seriously. What you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrusted to trusted people, who are also skilled at teaching others. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 2. Leroy held fast to this simple commandment and practiced it faithfully for more than 50 years. Many of the people who packed the church that day had stayed at Leroy's house. They were accepted, encouraged, and given guidance by Leroy. As Leroy's spiritual disciples, they made that ministry multiply by disciplining others, just as Leroy had done for them. What lessons did we learn? The example given by Leroy invites us to faithfully follow and imitate the life of Christ throughout our lives. If Leroy could do it, by God's grace, so can we. Amen. Today's inspiration. We can teach better with our lives than with the words we speak.